Hello everyone! Today I am going to be showing you how to knit. So for this you'll need a set of knitting needles. It doesn't really matter how big they are. These are 9mm knitting needles, but I find that the bigger they are the easier it is to knit because you're not working with really small loops. It also creates sort of a bigger weave, and I'm making a blanket out of these squares, so I've knitted a few already, and that looks more cozy to me than like a really small close knit that you'd have in like a scarf or a jumper or something. So I think this is really cozy, so I'm using the big ones. You will also need some wool, obviously. So let's get started. So the first step is to take one needle and your wool, and you're going to tie a knot, just a really basic knot around the needle, like that. Then you're going to just double knot it. Now I tend to leave it a little bit loose so you can stick your needle under it later. So it's just a double knot, very basic, like that. That's all you should need. Then what you'll do is take the wool, pull it away from you, wrap 2 fingers around it like this, so you're sort of making a peace sign, and then pull it back, flip your fingers back onto the wool towards you, and stick the needle through your fingers, through that little loop that you've made. And then what you do when you pull your fingers away is you create a loop around the needle, and that is your first stitch. So you keep doing this. So again, pulling the wool away from us, wrapping it around a peace sign, flip the peace sign, put the needle through the loop, and pull tight. So I'm not going to make a square that's quite this big. This is about 15 stitches, which still isn't very many, but it takes a little bit longer to knit. So I'm just going to do probably, let's say 6. So I'll do, this is the 4th, so peace sign, flip it, push it through, pull tight. So that's 5, one more, so pull it away, peace sign, flip it, push it through, pull tight. So there is 6 stitches. Very simple, very basic. Now what I'm going to do is stitch my first row. So what you're going to do is with the first stitch, you're going to put your needle through it to create a cross. So you're creating a cross. Then what you're going to do is take the wool and wrap it on the bottom needle that you pushed through. So you're going to wrap it around the bottom needle, then pull the bottom needle through the little loop, and then push it off. And that's your first stitch. So again, you're going to push it through to make a cross, wrap it around the back needle, pull it through, and push it off. So you continue this all the way down the row. The first row will probably be a little bit tight, it always is. So you just wrap it around the back needle, pull through, push it off, and continue that along the row. So again, cross, around, pull through, push off. Again, cross, around, pull through, push off, cross, around, oops, got both there, got tangled, I tried to be too tricky, around, pull through, and push off. And there we have knitted our first row. So now what you're going to do is continue that process along the knitting. So cross, around, pull through, push off, and we continue this all the way along. And the idea is that you keep all 6 stitches the whole way along, because if you drop a stitch, it just means that you'll have sort of a hole in the knitting where the stitch would have been. And it also means that the sides of your knitting will be sort of wonky, which isn't ideal. You want to sort of create a little square. So you're just going to continue knitting along the row. So cross, around, pull through, push off. You're continuing this along the rows. So I don't really know how many rows I will need to make a square, but my rule of thumb is that when it looks sort of square, I'll cast it off. So I'm going to continue knitting now until I think it looks square, and then I'll show you guys how we cast off. Okay, so now we are going to, I've got a little square happening, so we're going to cast off. So the way that we do that is we just knit the first 2 stitches as per normal. So we're going to do a little cross, wrap it around, pull it through and push it off for the first 2 stitches. Oops, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our needle under the back stitch, pull it over the front stitch and pull it off. And there is the first one done. So you can pull that tight if you like. Then we're going to stitch a second stitch. So at all times you want to have 2 stitches on this second needle. So then again, you're going to put your front needle through, pull the back stitch over the front stitch and pull it off and pull it tight. So it's really as simple as that. You're just stitching 2 stitches onto the needle, then you're going to pull the back stitch over the front stitch and pull tight. So we're doing that again and again until we get to our last stitch. So we now stitch this one around, pull tight, pull the last one over it, so over the front stitch, so that we're left without pulling it off because that would be bad, with one final stitch. Now what we need is a pair of scissors, which I don't know where, oh here they are. And we're going to cut just a little length so we've got some room to tie a knot. And then we're going to grab with our fingers this loop, like the last stitch that's on the needle, pull it off so it's nice and loose and pull the needle out. Then holding onto this loop, we're going to grab the piece of string that we have, pull it through the loop so it's like a little knot, and then pull it tight. And there you have it, you've cast off. So now, we sort of pull it out a bit because it all gets a bit tight when you're casting it off, you have one little square. So you can trim up the little straggly bits that are on the ends, and then we have a little knitted square. So enjoy your knitting, it's really relaxing once you get good at it, and yeah, I really enjoy it. So I hope you liked my little video, and happy knitting!